Dear Father Simon and the festive synod of ecclesiastical judgment, I seek holy forgiveness for an event which, while Christmas-themed, is still passable in early January. Mark is his name.
Thanks.
Blimey. Pay attention.
I've got
at the
it.
back.
It was him.
My confession starts when we're staying with my parents at Lytham St Anne's during the festive season. Just finished, and it was a lovely winter's morning. After we'd opened a few presents and had breakfast, I took our two miniature schnauzers, Archie and Angus, for a walk along the seafront at Lytham. Once on Lytham's promenade, I took the dogs down one of the flights of steps from the prom to the old shoreline below. Then I let them off the leads. I allowed Archie and Angus to run ahead on the sandy track and fulfil their natural needs the way they have to do first thing in the morning. The way we all have to.
Yes,
at
we all
various
understand.
stages. 3:30 in the morning. After walking a few hundred yards, I spotted ahead of us an elderly lady carrying a large Hessian shopping bag full of Christmas presents, as well as a full plastic carrier bag. She proceeded to put the Hessian bag down on the track and then move a few metres away from it. Being intrigued by the woman's actions, I watched as she started throwing pieces of bread from her carrier bag into the air. Within seconds, the air around her was full of seagulls diving and squabbling as they tried to catch the airborne food. I found out later from my father that this gull feeding was a daily ritual for this particular lady. Being transfixed by the aerial bickering of the gulls, I hadn't noticed Archie and Angus had in fact now wandered up to the lady's Hessian bag. It was then with total dismay, I have to admit, that I saw Archie cocking his leg at the bag, quickly followed by Angus, who also left his canine calling card.
Okay.
Being totally mortified at the dog's actions, I just stood there aghast. Now, at this point, I should have gone over to the lady and apologised, but seeing as she was oblivious of the doggy misdoings behind her, I chose to keep quiet and scarp her. Brave man, Mark. I hastily called the dogs, put them on their leads, and rapidly made for the nearest flight of steps up to the promenade. I tried to convince myself that the dogs had probably been at the drop-dribble stage, and so would hardly wet the bag.
Okay, lovely.
Well, you know, we all get to that
good.
stage eventually.
Yes, we do. That's believable.
As I climbed the steps, I'd almost convinced myself that no real harm was probably done.
Yeah.
Oh, grow up, Mayo. However, just as we reached the top of the steps, we were passed by a man descending with a huge Alsatian. After we'd exchanged a quick happy Christmas, the man unleashed the dog and it headed straight for the bird-feeding lady. From the promenade, I watched at the following series of events. As the Alsatian neared the lady, stopped, sniffed the air, took a last-minute deviation and headed straight for the present-filled bag. His owner, then seeing his dog start to attentively sniff the bag, sensing what was about to happen, started running towards the dog, shouting, "Alan! No!
Alan?
Alan!"
Alan the dog. Okay. Alan the Alsatian, in fact. Well done.
But it
Yes.
wasn't in vain,
Alan.
because Alan the Alsatian cocked his leg and satisfied his natural urge to add his scent to that of Archie's and Angus's.
Okay.
Hearing the bloke's panic-filled cries to his dog, the gull-feeding lady turned and joined in the chorus of "No!" But Alan had started, and by heaven was Alan going to finish.
Yeah.
At this point, you should remember that big dogs have big bladders, and it
Yes.
appeared to be Alan's first opportunity of the day,
Yes, of course.
as it were.
Yeah.
Not only did he soak the inside of the
No.
bag, and so on. All right, I'll leave the next bit out then. After a few seconds of stunned silence, the lady started hysterically berating this man. "You've ruined my Christmas!" she screamed, which is fair enough, really.
Yeah.
She went on to loudly add, "I'm on my way to spend Christmas Day with my daughter's family. Not only did the bag contain all the presents, a hand-knitted jumper for my grandchildren, canapes to go with the drinks. They're all ruined.
Canapes.
Can't give those presents now. It smells like a public toilet."
Yes, it does.
It just smells like a toilet. Alan's owner kept trying to apologise when he could get a word in, but it was obvious that no words from him were ever going to calm the devastated woman. Now, this is probably the second and best opportunity to apologise for my dog's early misdemeanours and explain that it was actually Archie and Angus who probably caused Alan to act the way Alan did in the first place. However, I chose the more cowardly and safer route of hurriedly heading back to my parents' home, therefore leaving the ladies' tearful ranting and the poor dog owners embarrassed apologising behind. I now belatedly seek forgiveness from Alan and his owner, whose leisurely Christmas morning stroll was turned into a walk from hell. I, of course, also apologise to the poor lady whose Christmas was obviously ruined, and to her family, who either didn't get any presents that year or received some strangely smelling gifts. I can only hope that the canapes weren't served with the morning drinks.
No.
Anyway, you can understand how this kind of thing would have happened. Maybe Mark should have stepped up after Angus and Archie had done their business, but he was off back down the prom because he didn't have the guts to actually own up to the poor gull lady. What do you say here, Sister Bobby?
This is very easy, actually. I'm not happy about this because, Mark, if you'd have stepped up and told her, it would have given an opportunity, even on before Alan got involved, with Angus and who was the other one, Archie. Let's face it, they would have left their deposits. They have a special kind of, it wasn't. There was probably still quite a lot left in those two boys, to leave a significant mark on those Christmas presents. If you'd have told that lovely old lady that had happened, she'd have had an opportunity to kind of clean it off or even prepare for her guest that was coming. This is before Alan. This is what I'm saying. This is before Alan. So what you did is you let that lady go off to her Christmas with smelly presents at the very, very least and affecting everything else. At least she'd have had a chance to maybe get them out before it's soaked through from the bag.
These canapes,
so I'm sorry, Mark, but actually you're a responsible dog owner. It's not your dog's fault. It's your fault. You should have owned up. And then, if you'd have owned up, maybe Alan wouldn't have done the dirty and had the kind of
this is a lecture for
knock-on
Mark,
effect. So, Mark, as much as I love you and your dogs, you're not forgiven.
Brother Matthew.
Yes, the Vol-au-vent's a bit gamey, I think. What am I getting overtones of here? Obviously, onus is on the dog owner to, see where your dog is and all that. But am I alone in thinking that maybe the little old lady should have been keeping an eye on her bags instead of just feeding the seagulls? Maybe if you've got all your prezzies and your vol-au-vents in your bag, keep an eye on your bag. And far be it from me to say little old lady maybe brought it upon herself.
It was her fault,
But
was it?
I'm going to say brought it upon herself. So I am going to forgive.